I'm really excited because I think in the second round is actually where Brad Holmes really saved this draft, honestly. When you kind of take a step back and you kind of start breaking down the players, you really get a sense of like, okay, he found really good value and again at positions that can make an impact, either immediately or I guess again in the case of Brian Branch, there's a lot of like potential that's just oozing out of that player that you're just like, yo, when he finally gets an opportunity to really contribute, um, he's going to do good things. So let's start first with Sam Laporta. Let me know what you think of my comp. Like I'll break down my comps and then you can kind of give me your feedback, whether you think I'm high on something or if I'm spot on. So my ceiling for Sam Laporta is actually Dallas Goddard, the tight end out of Philly. So looking first of all, watching tape on Sam Laporta is painful, and it's not because of Sam Laporta. It's because Iowa's offense is absolutely terrible, and it's so hard to find good tape on him where he's being utilized in a way that actually helped them win games. But when you watch him, and specifically once he has the ball in his hands and his ability to get open, it's very Dallas Goddard like. Now, how they use him is more so. I kind of like in my notes, I had it as like, hey, he has Dallas Goddard type ability, but he was utilized in a very similar way as Mark Andrews, where again, because Iowa had no talent offensively, Sam Laporta was lined up everywhere. He was flexed out wide. He played in the slot. He played in line. He played, I think they did a couple shuffle passes. Like they tried as best as they could to get Sam Laporta the ball so that he could make an impact on the game. And when you see him play, he's very good with the ball in his hands. He's a little undersized at 6'3", and that's something that's already been highlighted. But again, when he's able to get the ball in his hands, he's a great run after catch type of tight end to where you just feel like, hey, if we can get him open, he's going to get us an additional 6, 7, 8, 9 yards just from being able to not just again truck through people, but actually be able to shake guys because he's elusive enough. He's not just a big body, he's an actual athlete in space. So that is kind of my ceiling for Dallas Goddard. Luke, am I spot on? You think I'm smoking crack? Let me know.
No, I think I can see the comparison, but I feel like I feel like your like my ceiling is going to piss a lot of people off because they're going to say there's no way I don't see it, but it's basically T.J. Hockenson. We swapped out T.J. Hockenson for T.J. Hockenson. Like I know he can run faster than T.J. T.J. ran a 4.7, he ran a 4.5. I get it, but they both just knew how to get open in the defense, and when they get tackled, they're tackled. Like, yeah. like I like it. I don't have a problem with it, but I think your comparison for Goddard is spot on because getting like Goddard out there making no stellar blocks and stuff, and I don't expect for LaPorta to do the same thing either. So
Right. And in all honesty, I was first looking at Mark Andrews, right? And like I just couldn't give him Mark Andrews because I think he's a better athlete, first of all, than Mark Andrews. I think that's first and foremost.
yeah.
He's a better athlete than Mark Andrews. But what Mark Andrews is able to do as far as catching in traffic is better than what Laporta does. Laporta,
Right.
like Steve-O kind of said, I just took the comment down, but like he actually does. Laporta has great footwork off the line, so he's able to win early in his routes. But where he sometimes can get nullified is later in those routes where if a defender is on him, he doesn't have great catch and traffic type of ability. He doesn't catch a lot of contested passes very well. So it's funny that you said that he reminds you kind of TJ Hockenson because that was the first place I was going to go for his floor. But again, just looking at like again trying not to, I don't know, kind of piss off the audience or whatever. And I just like it felt too much like a layup. I guess that's what it was. It felt too much like a layup to say, hey, he's TJ Hockenson.
But he is. Listen, if you watch him, the two things that he do best is he knows how to get open and find the space in the defense. That's brilliant. And number two, he catches with his hands, not his body. He never lets the ball get to his body. It's his hands. He expects to get hit. Same thing TJ Hockenson does. He turns the corner. He can get a lot of yards and make a lot of yards down the field. But in most cases, if you just hit one leg, It's over.
Well, so I guess this is the thing then. I guess in my mind then, that's not that different than Dallas Goedert. Right? Like, so his like, and that's why I said
No,
like
that's
this.
why I say it's a good comparison. But I just went with TJ Hockenson because I wanted fans to understand. You
Mhm.
didn't get. It's not like you really did a super upgrade, in my opinion. It's much of the same. You
All
just don't
right.
got to pay this one as much.
Right. No, absolutely. You get it at a much more appealing price. But like I said, like that's his ceiling, and I think that's still a fairly high ceiling. It's a tight end that could go to a couple Pro Bowls, if he's utilized the right way. And again, that's at his ceiling. I think there's a lot of flexibility that you have with Sam Laporta. But again, looking at his floor, I don't think his floor is as bad as again when we looked at like some of the players that I went through in the first round. I don't know, a lot of people may not know this person, but I had his floor as Chig Okonkwo out of Tennessee. So Chig, I believe, was drafted last year. Um, and he is again the thing that Sam Laporta does well is run after the catch. He catches well with his hands, he can get open, and once he gets open, he's very good in the open field, and that's exactly what Chig is. Chig is very good at doing that. And he was very explosive for Tennessee in that role. What he does not do well, and something that I don't think Sam Laporta does well. Some people have been saying that he does well. I don't think he does it very well, and that's block. He's not a great blocker.
Nah.
He's willing. He'll try, but there is also games. I specifically, I think it was the Illinois game, and I want to say the Michigan game. Sam does not block well, and he doesn't look interested in blocking.
Nah, he wants no parts of the funk. Like when I watched TJ Hockenson coming out of college, I was like, oh, he went up. But then they took him and made him a receiving tight end, which I was
Right.
like, this is stupid. But you're right. I've seen so many games where I'm like, okay, this is your opportunity. You know what I'm saying? What's that Eminem song? This is your moment,
Yeah.
right? This is it. And do not miss your chance to blow. And I'm like, you sucked on that block. And thank God the running back was able to kick it outside, or the quarterback is a sneak or something. But yeah, it's frustrating to see that. And I don't expect him to be a blocker. Like I like your floor comparisons. I had a
Yeah.
little bit of a different floor that many people are going to say is like that's a great floor, but I think I see more Jason Witten, a guy who can get open, get catches, get down, get up, get catches, get down.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
And I think the only thing that keeps me from that going in that direction, and I don't think that's a bad comp at all, is again, Sam has great athleticism, and that's something that Chig has. Chig has, I think, probably is more athletic. I think he had some crazy numbers at the combine if I remember correctly. Um, but I think they're also similar in this that like again they and Steve-O said it, they're not great at contested catches. So like he needs to improve his physicality. And I don't know if that's again just a mentality thing. Again, I know he's a smaller tight end at 6'3", but even if that's his floor, if that's like the weakness, if that's the crack in his armor, you can still get a lot out of Sam Laporta because you can still line him up in so many different situations and he can still be a weapon. He can still be impactful for your offense. So again, he may not, Chig is like I said, I think he was drafted last year. We'll see what he does in his sophomore season. But I think Sam will have that ability where again, he'll make a couple plays. He may not be a big name tight end, but he'll be somebody that teams will have to account for because you have all these other weapons in the offense. And Sam will be able to eat just off the simple fact that he can get off the line well. He's athletic in the open field, and you'll just know, like, hey, if it's a blocking situation, yeah, he's probably coming out.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like I just don't want players who are tails, right?
Yeah.
If he can get any semblance of blocking in his arsenal,
Hmm.
I'm happy, right?
And he
Like
can, and like I said, like it's not consistent enough for me. Like if you turn on the Ohio State tape, he blocks really well against Ohio State. He's actually like it's not like blow guys off the ball type of blocking, but again, it's holding at the point of attack. It's at least allowing his running back or his quarterback to at least be able to get some movement. And he's not just ending up on his back in that situation. You know what I mean? Like he's not being manhandled by any means, but he's not this explosive blocker. He's not like a Rob Gronkowski in the run game. He's not a George Kittle type of blocker. He's willing. He'll get in there, but he also has some instances where he just doesn't. And you don't understand why. Like, especially in motion. Like that was the one that was killing me, where he would come in motion down the line, and you're like, "Oh, perfect. Like, you have momentum, you have all of this stuff where you should be able to crack this defensive end," and he just doesn't.
He just leans into him. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just leans into. What was the game? Was it Penn State? I think it was Penn State. Okay, I think it was Penn State. I'm watching the tape of him. They put him in motion. The safety comes up on him, and it's a run. And I'm like, okay, you in motion. You should have enough speed built up to just. It's a safety.
Mhm.
Nope. He's up there twiddling his nipples, and I'm like, come on, bro. Like, come on. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
so but like I said, like I don't think I like I said, I don't think those are bad. I don't think those are bad ceilings or floors for Sam. I think you are getting a for where they drafted him, for what they're going to use him for. I think you will get every bit of his talent and his ability out of him, like for how Ben Johnson is going to use him. Um, he's a better pass catcher than Brock Wright. He's a better route runner than Brock Wright. He's a better athlete than Brock Wright. So like you are getting like an elevation in talent. You are going to like, and it's funny because this is something that we also said about, or I also said about Jack last week. You are going to have to teach them a different level of toughness.
Yeah.
It's which is
Yeah.
crazy because like Iowa's kind of referred to as like this hard-nosed school in the Big Ten, but it's like I don't know what happened, but these last couple of years they seem a little soft. Like so you're gonna have to reaffirm it and reestablish a different level of toughness, or you're gonna have to help them take it up another level so that they can be impactful for your football team.